is very intractable. We pretend to solve it, but we're not solving it. No genuine effort is made to solve it. It's a shame. But you see, a situation where you go about, you create a situation of injustice, and then you think it will go away. Part of this pillage we're talking about is a lot of infrastructure that are old. Some pipelines are more than 40 years old. They're not changed. I have reports here this morning that will showcase these things. The pretending is too much.
And the standard practices?
Against the standard practices in industry, yes.
How long do they have to take before they change it?
Well, I cannot go into, I'm not an engineer, but I have reports from international groups who went around Niger Delta, and what they saw baffled them. I have reports from the Ogomudia panel, a Nigerian panel set up by the federal government. They published a report where they said at least 50% of oil revenue should be given to the Niger Delta people. 50. That's a government recommendation. Ogomudia panel report is here. This is original. Ogomudia was the chairman of the panel. You have all the service chiefs in that panel. You have all the major players in the oil industry in that panel. After their report, they took a study around the Niger Delta. They saw for themselves what was on the ground, and they made their recommendations. In their recommendations, they said at least 50% upward review of the minimum 30% derivation to not less than 50%. Government had this, kept it under the desk. So it's, I don't know, it is Albert Einstein who said, he defined madness and foolishness to be when you repeat the same process over and over again and you expect a different result.
So it's a problem now. Are you saying that the problem is that there isn't enough money to tackle certain things, or that this money is not being well spent?
It is not even an issue of tackling. It's an issue of resource control. Because if I can give you a little bit of just 2 minutes of history. Before the amalgamation of 1914 of the southern and northern protectorate of Nigeria, there was the Niger Delta there, the maps are all there. Before independence in 1960, studies were carried out by the Sir Williams Commission and several other commissions. And they came up with 2 recommendations. One, this area is difficult to subdue for development. And for that, it needs special attention. These were the 2 recommendations they made. These were passed on to Nigerian government in 1960. Well, since all the major tribes, other tribes were bringing the money and the revenue at that time, agriculture and all, mining and all that, nothing was done. But when oil was struck in 1957, and Nigerian government in later years began to increasingly rely on oil revenue, the people thought at least these reports will be visited and they will be treated. As we speak now, nothing has been done. Instead of that report, instead of treating Niger Delta as a special area because of the deltaic problems there, we now have an added problem of pollution. The water is polluted. The air you breathe there is polluted, and people don't know it because they just breathe the air. So I have reports here.
You know, Mr. Opi,
and then the ground is polluted.
Sorry, let me come in.
Water is gone.
When you talk about report now, looking at this Ogomudia report, and we also have the Willings Commission report, and just quite recently we had the UNEP report.
There are several reports.
Is it that none of these reports, even the just recently submitted UNEP report, has been implemented?
No.
What about the talk of cleanup from the UNEP report? It talks about cleaning up the delta.
It's all lip service. Even when the cleanups are done, they're done several months later when the damage has really gone in.
Well, as we speak, is there any cleanup going on in the delta?
I think they're trying to start something in Ogoni because of what happened at the UN. And it's when we hear something from outside that we sit up. Instead of cleaning, what the Nigerian government does is to push military down there to make sure nobody says anything. And they use the guys as security to protect the people. When the actual reason why they're there is to make sure the pipelines are flowing with oil. You see, this is an injustice. My brother, if you see injustice done anywhere, you keep quiet, you might be the next victim. It's like fire is burning in this compound and you keep quiet thinking it won't get to you. I'm sorry.
For you, what would be some of the ingredients of a genuine approach to solving some of this problem? Because you started out by saying there is no genuine effort, to solving all of this.
Let's go back to Gomedia reports. Even there's a security group known as an international group known as they go around the world crisis group working to prevent conflict worldwide. They made that recommendation. And as I've always said, in our group, I represent the Niger Delta Project Group. We have taken this matter to court. We have gone to Geneva, World Human Rights Council, and presented this position. And people told us that we know your government is eating your money.
Sir,
a government that should protect you. Your government should protect you, not to defraud you.
Mr. Opie, sorry,
isn't that what the government is doing? Quite frankly,
yes.
Because isn't that what the government is? No, the government should be protecting. I thought the government is already protecting the people, especially of the Delta.
No.
Now, the amnesty, for instance, let's talk about the amnesty. Isn't that a success?
The amnesty
to start with?
The amnesty is another way of pretending to solve a problem.
Oh, really?
I'll tell you why I think so. You don't go after the messengers. You always go after the message.
So what's the message?
The message is resource control. Sarawak tried it, he was killed. Adakaboro tried it, he was the first martyr. These militants, before they gave them amnesty, they killed some of them. But because the world will scream like they screamed when Sarawak died, what happened? They say, hey, let's try. They now compromise state security.
Mr. Opie, we have the Niger Delta Ministry. We have the NDDC.
I'm trying to answer your question.
Good.
But so I am saying that now you've taken them away as amnesty for them to go and study. Very good. Lovely. The other people will come up. How many times will you take them out and ignore the message? Go after the message. Address the message. Do they have a grievance? If they have, look at it. Don't keep on sweeping the problem under the carpet. You send some people out, you kill some. You don't solve problems that way.
Mr. Opie, my question will be...
Yes, please.
I know that resource control has been in the pipeline for a very long time. Anyway, that's one thing that a host of people have always wanted. But so far, so good. The federal government has not granted that. But it has granted a host of other concessions, if you like. I mean, my colleague here just mentioned the NEDC, the Niger Delta Ministry. What exactly are we doing to ensure that these ministries or parastatals are working as they should? Are we looking at that to even ensure that the little that we're given is being used properly so that we can have the guts to actually ask for more?
Thank you very much.
Even though it's our entitlement?
Thank you very much for that. You see, I'll say thank you because you said working as it ought to. And that takes us to the Nigerian question. What's the Nigerian question? Corruption works on 4 legs. And every corruption in this country can be successfully traced to the Niger Delta question. Because one injustice somewhere is injustice everywhere. That is why we should all stand up. Decent people must oppose injustice. Because the same forces that cause the trouble in Niger Delta are not facing the whole country. They are looting everything. They are looting the treasury. Nothing is working. You can set up 10 committees for Niger Delta. No one works.
But you haven't answered the question, sir.
I've answered the question that it is corruption that is bedeviling, is killing everything.
Exactly. Have the Niger Delta people been able to address corruption as it affects them within their own locality, so to speak?
It's a Nigerian problem.
It's a Nigerian problem. Yeah. So the reason
caused by the injustice in the Niger Delta.
The reason why that is important is this. I know that at some point, if this resource control debate is going to make headway, the National Assembly is going to be involved. People in the National Assembly should be able to buy into the idea that yes, these people actually have this money. They have been able to use it resourcefully. That debate that they have been able to use it efficiently would actually win more people to their side. But if we say that, oh, we've created the Niger Delta Ministry, we've created the NDDC, and it seems all that these people have managed to do is create controversy rather than do the work they've been set out to do, because if you look at the pages of papers, all you see is this group saying, no, retain this, no, this group saying, no, remove that. How does it help the cause for resource control?
I will answer you this way. Because I understand what you're trying to say, that the one you've been given, what have you done with it? For instance, there's 13% derivation and all that. The question is this. Do you tell the man that because we don't think you can spend your money, we hold it for you? If I will spend it for you. Do you do that? Give it to him. If you love me so much,
regardless,
create enabling environment to enable me to spend the money. If I'm working for you in channels here, at the end of the month you pay me, I don't take care of my wife, I don't feed my children. Does that give you the right to seize the money and say you won't pay me or eat my money? If you love me so much, you come into it. You say, what's happening here? This is your money, but try and do this. The point I'm making is that corruption is not just in Niger Delta, it's all over. And I'm saying that corruption came from reliance on cheap oil funds. No government relies on rent seeking.
So how do we solve all of this? Because if you look at the pictures there, and we say this is, for instance, someone's pond, and it has all gone bad with smudge and all you can really pick out of it. It is really pathetic, but we should be talking about solving the matter, the problem now. You said the air that they breathe in there, everything's polluted. China's has always been there, yes, so we know what you're talking about. But as we speak now, what can be done now? Quick fix measure now.
What can be done is sincerity in clearing these things up, bringing in experts, and then see what you can do to clean up, and then pay compensation. But gentlemen and lady, while you're doing that, is it not pathetic that a man's backyard produces billions of dollars on a monthly basis? The results is felt in Abuja. He can't pay his children's school fees. He can't take care of their health.
That's where this comes in, because I mean, you could blame the man who was perhaps far away, not too close to the data, for not understanding the plight. But I mean, who better to understand your plight than this government?
And we're talking